It is now the beginning of March, and I asked myself if now was the perfect time to make a video of my top 10 most anticipated games of 2017. And it turns out that now is not the perfect time, as I should have posted this video 2 months ago, but better late than never, right? Regardless, fuck me. The following 10 titles are the games that I'm most looking forward to getting my hands on this year. And before we start, there are a few games that I'm willing to bet will not come out this year, and therefore will not be featured on this list, obviously. This includes Insomniac's new Spider-Man game, Days Gone, the new God of War, Shenmue 3, Death Stranding, which probably won't come out for another few years, and The Last of Us Part 2. Oh, and I would have placed Resident Evil 7 at the number 2 spot on this list, but it already came out before I finished the video, so yeah. Alright, regardless, here are the games I can't wait to get my hands on. Persona 5. Confession, I have never played Persona 4, which is now regarded as one of the best RPGs of all time, with an amazing story about going through high school, solving murders, and going inside a TV. You know, just your average life of a typical teenager. It's known as an accessible game that anyone can enjoy, regardless of their history with JRPGs. So I should really get off my ass and go through the game, and you should consider doing so as well, because considering the acclaim Persona 4 has garnered, as well as the positive critical reception we've heard from the Japanese copies of this game so far, Persona 5 looks to be an enjoyable, unique experience with another fantastic story filled with deep, memorable characters. This is the only entry on this list where I can confidently say I have no idea what I'm talking about. Persona 5 comes out on April 4th. Maybe I should just play the 4th game in the meantime. I should probably do that. Number 9, Splatoon 2. The original Splatoon was so close to being an exceptional video game that I would recommend to everyone, but there were so many inexcusable problems and missing features that it turned out to be a unique, enjoyable shooter with so much missing potential to be considered a must-play title. Now, instead of doing what I expected Nintendo to do, which is to port the original Splatoon with all of its DLC to the Nintendo Switch, they've decided to make a sequel instead, unsurprisingly, called Splatoon 2. While it does look like more of the same, even when you acknowledge the additions of new weapons, characters, ultimates, and game modes, this will basically be exactly what Nintendo wanted the original Splatoon to be. A game with a fantastic combat system, wonderful art design, and 90s sensibilities. The core gameplay of Splatoon makes it one of the most fun, unique multiplayer shooters out there, and what's most exciting to me is that you could play this with a total up to 8 players locally. As long as everyone has their own Nintendo Switch, and presumably their own copy of the game, they can play together anywhere, no internet required, which is a dream come true. Splatoon 2 comes out in the summer. Number 8, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. And yes, while this is DLC for Uncharted 4, it is getting its own standalone release, so technically it's eligible to be on the list. As the world's biggest Uncharted fan, if you don't believe that's true, that's because what I just said is called a hyperbole. I'm admittedly a bit skeptical of the first and presumably last piece of single-player DLC for the Uncharted series. But that doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to playing this, because I absolutely am. Taking place in India during a ruthless war, you play as fan favorite Chloe Fraser, who's partnered up with Nadine Ross, who was one of the antagonists from Uncharted 4. To some extent, I was disappointed to see that Chloe wasn't featured in Uncharted 4, but fortunately Naughty Dog had a good reason for that, because here she is getting her own story. While I am nervous on how this is all gonna pan out, considering the 8 minutes of gameplay we've seen so far looks pretty boring in retrospect, the thought of an Uncharted experience focused on a different character in the series is too intriguing of an idea to not be excited about. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy comes out sometime later this year. Number 7, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. 2014 South Park: The Stick of Truth is a hilarious and surprisingly deep, enjoyable game that is great for anyone who doesn't get offended, which is hard to find in 2017. But anyways, it's a great game and I ask that you try it out if you haven't done so already. So series creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone said, screw it, this was awesome, so let's make another game. The Fractured But Whole is more of what makes South Park intriguing and hilarious, while also making fun of superheroes and how oversaturated the movie industry is, with countless amounts of Marvel and DC movies and TV shows. And they also reworked the combat system in some unique ways. But ever since we had that extensive look at the game at E3 of 2016, we haven't heard anything since, other than the fact that this game was delayed twice since then. So all we could do is keep rewatching every episode of the show until the game comes out. South Park: The Fractured Booty Hole comes out eventually in 2017. Number 6, Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, come on, don't be upset. I know that many of you have this as your most anticipated game of the year, and for good reason. Red Dead Redemption was one of the best games of the last generation, and Rockstar Studios has almost never screwed up anything they've ever released when it comes to pure quality. But the reason it's number 6 on my list is because we still don't know anything about the game yet. Now when it comes to Rockstar, I know we could just put our trust in them and just let them do their thing. But at this particular moment in time, I'm not balls to the wall excited yet. Once we get to see more, then the hype will come pouring in. Also, this trailer is almost over, so I should stop talking about it before I have no more footage to use. Red Dead Redemption 2 supposedly comes out sometime this year. Number 5. Prey. Now this is something we haven't seen in a long time, a sci-fi first-person shooter, not having anything to do with the original Prey released back in 2006, which by the way still holds up incredibly well. Prey stars a dude or dudette named Morgan, and for a currently unknown reason is aboard a space station that has been overrun by aliens. The atmosphere and art design seems to be an unsettling yet totally effective mixture of System Shock and BioShock, but because this is being developed by the talented Arkane Studios, the gameplay, level design, and world building will all be similar to how the immaculate Dishonored games are designed. So basically, Prey is a mixture of the best parts of System Shock 2, the original BioShock, and Dishonored. If that doesn't sound like a recipe for success, then you've probably never played any of those games before. If the game can confidently combine all these elements effectively, as well as having the experience be nerve-wracking, tense, atmospheric, and fundamentally horrifying, then this could be one of the best relatively linear game experiences to have come out in the past few years. Prey comes out on May 5th. Number 4. Super Mario Odyssey. Fuck yes, I love Mario. Ever since I started this channel late 2014, that just happened to be the moment where Nintendo was like, oh, let's just release 3 games each year from now on. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that I never got to show you guys that I do love Nintendo. And while they do make some stupid, ridiculously stupid decisions when it comes to marketing and supply and demand, their games are truly unlike any other. So with that out of the way, let's get back to talking about how freaking amazing Super Mario Odyssey looks. This will be a full-blown open 3D Mario game that harkens back to the days of Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. Well, recently we have received a few 3D Mario games, such as Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 3D World. In both design and structure, they're built similar to 2D Mario games. So, Super Mario Odyssey is a type of Mario game we haven't seen in a long time. Mario will now be teleported to open worlds that can be explored on a seemingly larger scale than we've ever seen in the franchise. Each world we've seen so far has its own unique flavor, characters, challenges, and beautiful art design, from a Day of the Dead style desert to a colorful classic world of fruit, and yes, we also get to explore the real world, which is a welcome, albeit strange addition. And plus, Bowser's a pimp now, so that's freaking awesome. This looks like it's going to be another Mario game to sit alongside the greats, due to its colorful and charming personality in both its world and Mario as a character, while also being an enjoyable platformer that is going to be a ton of fun to play. I have a strong feeling that Super Mario Odyssey is going to remind everyone how truly amazing Mario has always been. Super Mario Odyssey comes out for the Nintendo Switch during the holiday season. Number 3. Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, Mass Effect, have I missed you oh so much. The Mass Effect trilogy is one of the most immersive and emotional journeys I've experienced in gaming, gracing some of the best characters the medium has to offer. It's been 5 years since we finished the ending of Mass Effect 3, and soon we don't have to continue waiting to return to the well-realized Mass Effect universe, as we are finally getting Mass Effect Andromeda, which seems to have nothing to do with the main plot and characters of the original Mass Effect trilogy. And unfortunately, we still don't know much about the game other than the basic plot synopsis. You're gonna be this dude or dudette, and you get to explore the universe. That's it. For all we know, it doesn't seem that the story will be all that engaging or full of urgency. Now, this is just a gut feeling with no evidence to back up what I'm trying to say, but so far, I don't like the new characters, and I'm afraid they're not going to be nearly as interesting or deep as any of the characters in the original trilogy. And I'm also afraid that the combat and the majority of the gameplay is going to be as repetitive as can be. So, why is this game on my number 3 spot of games I'm most looking forward to? Basically, it's because there's a special place in my heart for the Mass Effect series because of how emotional and captivating the world and characters are. EA and BioWare have shown off barely anything on the new Mass Effect game, and that makes me very scared. Hopefully, the reason for that is that we can be pleasantly surprised with the wonderful secrets they're holding back. I'm very scared, but I'm going to keep my head up high. Mass Effect Andromeda comes out on March 21st. Number 2. Horizon Zero Dawn. Now let's turn the tables and talk about something that I have extremely high hopes for. Horizon Zero Dawn, developed by Guerrilla Games, takes place in a world presumably hundreds of years in the future, in a world that is overrun by nature and robots. So now, humans act like they did back in the primal age of mankind. You play as a girl named Alloy, and with your trusty bow, you get to explore the open world, hunting and destroying these robot dinosaur-like creatures, while also exploring undiscovered areas in the hopes of learning the truth of what happened to this world, as well as why there are these robot things in the first place. First of all, graphically and artistically, the world of Horizon looks insane. One of the most visually pleasing games we've seen so far. Just, mwah, this game just looks insanely beautiful. Alloy looks to be a strong protagonist, the setup of the story is intriguing, and the combination of action and stealth gameplay, mixed with crafting, customization, and RPG mechanics, looks to make this a unique, hugely enjoyable open-world action game that understands what makes similar open-world Western RPGs great and decides to do its own thing with the formula. As long as the combat isn't repetitive and the story isn't weak, this will be an adventure everyone should go on. Horizon Zero Dawn should be out by the time this video finally gets posted, which unfortunately comes out a little too close to the #1 entry on my list. And before I yell at you about my most anticipated game of the year, here are a couple games I'm looking forward to that almost made the list. We have Nier Automata, the quirky action game by Platinum Games, 1-2 Switch, the fun, albeit overpriced party game that anyone could play for the Switch, Detroit Become Human, the next game by the crazy director David Cage, and Farpoint, an immersive first-person shooter for PlayStation VR that looks to be an immersive and hopefully unique shooter that comes out on May 16th. And at #1, we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I've only been on YouTube for a few years now, but when I made videos like this one, talk about my most anticipated games for the years 2015 and 2016, the new Legend of Zelda made both of those lists. So for the third and final time, we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Well, for a long time, I was very nervous with how this game was going to turn out, and to some extent, I still am. It wasn't until after I saw the trailer that was unveiled at the January Switch press conference that I was reminded of how huge of a Legend of Zelda fan I am. Like I said with Mario, because of how dead Nintendo has been in the past 2 years, I never got to express my love for Nintendo, but that's all about to change with the release of the Nintendo Switch and Breath of the Wild. The promise of a fully explorable open world is promising, and while I was disappointed that it seems pretty barren and full of open, empty spaces, compared to all the densely packed open world games that ask you to follow the game's rules and take part in scripted events, Breath of the Wild lets you roam around and enjoy the world like you typically would in a Legend of Zelda game. The art style that mixes Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess looks beautiful. From what I've heard, the score is as emotional as ever, and I'm very much looking forward to the story of this Zelda game. I absolutely can't wait for this game, but my only problem is that this game comes out a little too close to the release of Horizon Zero Dawn, and unfortunately, it looks like it'll be a bit till I start Horizon, as Breath of the Wild is going to have all my attention for the month of March. Breath of the Wild comes out the same day as the Nintendo Switch on March 3rd. Now you guys know what I'm looking forward to this year, but because I like you guys just a little bit, I'm curious as to what you're looking forward to playing, although if I had to guess, it's probably Red Dead Redemption 2. So be a doll, and let me know what you can't wait to play in the comments below, and be sure to stay tuned about the Gamers for new videos about the games I just mentioned, as well as all content about Nintendo Switch. Thank you for watching, and stay fresh.